Hey everybody, it is Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, Miranda, Kayla, Maddie, Sarah. Good to see you all here. Can we go over the write-up for the visualization first? Maddie, you asked the first question. Let's do it. Let's get some data open and jump. We need some jump data. Open and jump. This is the open and jump song. Let's go get some data. We got some decision tree data. Hey Lauren, good to see you here. Mubot's here tracking everyone's points. Mubot, tell them all about their points. You can also ask, what quote is Mubot going to say today? I do not know what quote Mubot is going to say. We got a lot of quotes. Let's head over here to the screen and talk about the visualization first. And thank you, Maddie. You are smarter than our Mubot. We know that. Leslie's got a question too. Hello, can you explain the lottery question? It talks about the rarest numbers. Yeah, we haven't done that one in office hours yet. Leslie and Lauren, you got it next. We'll definitely do that. BS320 question in the queue. Which one's that, Kayla? Which one? Ask away, Kayla. And thank you, Kayla, for noticing I didn't post the rubric. It's kind of important. Or didn't update the rubric. Kind of important. I was like, oh no. I really mean thank you. Like, it's hard with words to sometimes convey, like, I'm actually being like, no, thank you for pointing out that I made a mistake. Like, I did mess it up. And like you said, you're like, well, everyone makes mistakes. Don't worry. And it's the way we got to realize. It's like, well, we were talking about that last night on the business analytics panel. So really quick shout out. If you are interested in business analytics, especially the graduate program, we did a panel last night. It's one of the latest videos on this YouTube channel. So check that out, the latest business analytics panel. And we talked to graduates of the MSBA program. If you want to know more about it, definitely there. I will ask them when we get it. Also, I noticed the Survey 11 error, but then saw the update. Yes, we have it. Feel free to put the question in the queue, and then because we'll do the randomness one next, then we'll do 320. So let's take a look right here. Let's go to predictive modeling, partition, and we're going to make our decision tree. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to remove the variables that we shouldn't use. If you want to see how to talk about the variables and which variables to remove, check out yesterday's video. I'm just kind of doing it in a quicker format because we talked about this yesterday. So we've got the variables removed right there, hint, hint. And so let's take a look at a quantitative variable here to predict. Let's predict. Now that's the one you'll be predicting and from a random sample. So please slow down. Yesterday's video kind of talked about the start of this and making decision trees and the theory behind it. So I'm just kind of going to the interpretation part of a decision tree. Does that look good for you, Maddie? Is that going to be a-okay? We're just jumping to interpretation of the decision tree, interpretation part of the decision tree. So let's go here and try to explain what people tip. We're going to try to explain what people tip, which is a quantitative Y variable. And then we have all of these variables down here, of which are not indicators, are quantitative, categorical, and you already have the screenshots. Perfect. And we'll talk about how to make some good screenshots. We're going to go here to split. And I didn't get a symmetric tree. Sure. We'll just talk about it briefly. Of course, we get, get issues. So we'll go right here. Good morning, Kelvin. Good to see you here. So if you notice, we have the tree right here, and we start here at the very top, and let's just kind of take a screenshot of it. A screenshot we need for this tree is going to be, we could take all of this right here. There we go. I'd also take the top of it. Let's just talk about screenshots here for a half second. So we're going to jump right here. Close our 10,000 documents. We're going to drop this screenshot in. The tree is not split apart. We were able to get the tree in one clean screenshot, which is great. We're going to jump back here to jump. That's a joke. It's not really a joke. And then we're going to take a screenshot of the partition model up here. We already got the bottom part. So we're just going to take this right here. There we go. Let's go back over here. Let's drop this in, and we're going to decrease size a little bit. And then we're going to decrease size on this. That is quite legible on this screen. So the goal is you want to have your images be of a decent size, readable. I might increase that a little bit here in a moment. Yeah, I'm probably going to increase that. This one, not as important. This one below it, more important because it kind of talks about the tree and what it's doing. And then last but not least, and I think we'll be able to get it all on one screen. That's my hope. Hey, Connor, so good to see you here. So if you didn't see Connor, we had the business analytics panel last night. Check that out. Lots of great questions. And I'm looking to do maybe more with exactly, that's the point, Maddie. We want to make it look clean, professional, all that good stuff. It's actually something they were talking about last night. Clay was talking about how in a business analytics thing he was doing, like a lot of times they were talking about just like how to present it, like, okay, what color scheme are we using in these things? So, oh, so good to see you that you went to it, Connor, and checked it out. It's, oh my gosh, it's going off the screen. Of course it's going to go off the screen. It's this variable. It's these two variables below. Let me do this. Let me prune it there. I'm cheating. I'm making it symmetric. Oh, look, it's so much easier to take a screenshot of. Good question right there, Kayla. You got it. We'll do the randomness one next, and then we got Kayla's question next. Oh, look, my tree, by choosing where to split, is a lot easier to take screenshots of. So let's go ahead and let's re-screenshot the tree now with our much better... I forced a split, Connor. So I did a forced split to make the tree symmetric. Oh, it's so much easier to fit on the screen. Yeah, you got it, Bailey. Which one are you wondering about? We've got 2 questions in the queue. We're talking about the write-up for the decision tree right now. And then we are going to talk about... Maddie, tell me if I miss anything. I'm just going to kind of go off the top of my head on the write-up and mainly just talk about this right now. So much easier to get this all on the screen right now. And I'd probably just put it all to one-page output. This is going to be the least important. Sorry about that, Connor. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Connor's dealing with some real-world data going crazy. So let's take a look at this. I'll paste the directions. Oh, yes. Let's take a look. So here we are. Let's see. Oof. This. What do you think about Connor? Connor's our resident statistician here. Connor, I want Connor to just comment briefly on for 320 students, the practical significance of this tree right now. And for 320 students, the RASE is your RMSE. So Jump, for some reason, calls RASE 201. You do not need to know that. So 201, I'm going to highlight everything in blue. Yellow, you need to be talking about here. 320, the RASE is the RMSE, which means when we predict someone's tip percentage, we're usually off, like on average, by about 5.5% with, RMSE, the typical miss the model makes. The names of the predicted variables you excluded from the decision tree and the reasons why. Now, we didn't quite go over that completely, but which ones are we excluding from the decision tree, Maddie? Like, what variables are we excluding? We exclude things that are this or things that act like this, and there'll be 3 of them total. I did it really quickly, and we talked this a lot yesterday. So the variables you will exclude from the decision tree will be variables that are this or act like this. Oh, Avery, we can do that. Yep. So we exclude things that are this or act like this. So we always exclude. We exclude. We'll leave that in the chat for who knows. You are correct, Maddie. And there's one of those that, as Leslie points out, one of those is an identifier, and then the other ones act like identifiers. And what do we mean act like an identifier? We mean it has tons of levels. Like, we exclude identifiers, and then we exclude things that act like identifiers, like major, one of the ones listed right there, has lots and 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 lots of levels. It acted like an identifier, because if you say, what's your favorite phone app? And I say, the probability stat distribution app. It's like, okay, well, Brian's the only one who loves that. Basing on R squared, you could say very little practical strategy, but again, it's always dependent. Yeah, it's like maybe this 3% is good. Like, as Connor points out, that's not really good, but hey, maybe it's good if this is stocks or something. So this is, Connor, top tier answers right there. The R squared is not that good for this, which we don't interpret the R squared for this one, but for 320, we always see this in 320, R squared and practical significance. So it's a good kind of crossover. I always like to merge these classes to like talk about, hey, R squared right there, which 201 should know for their tests. 3.4% of the variation in how much someone tips is explained by the decision tree. 3.4% of the variation in how much someone tips is explained by the decision tree. We have our 3 splits, and we go down here to the bottom. Let's look. The names of the predicted variables based on your decision tree list the characteristics of students who have the highest expected salary. Can you explain for me? I'm going to disappear from the screen. Go away. That's me. Can you explain to me the characteristics of the people who tip the most? Can you explain for me the characteristics of the people who tip the most? Why'd you feel bad, Connor? I hope you're doing all right. Why'd you feel bad? Don't feel bad. We're talking about tipping at restaurants. Once. Oh, you... I like that. Oh, well, maybe they needed it. Maybe they needed a refresher on regression. Regression's super important. It's like, regression's one of the most kind of... It's like a basic statistical technique that Oh, they didn't test their residuals. Ooh, then their model might not be valid. Yeah, no, the residuals need to be normally distributed and all the good stuff need to have equal spread. Yeah, need to make sure your model's actually. Ooh, no, this is all. No, if you can't show me, because the prediction, we actually just did prediction intervals in 320. We're actually, stay for a moment, Connor, because after we do the next randomness one, we will be doing, Kayla, if you're seeing this, Connor is 45 points to predict out of 6 weeks. So it sounds like their model is going to have a large amount of uncertainty. It's going to have very high or very large something. I'm not going to say it, SEs. So their SEs were probably very high, and they should show that. Who sees Connor? That's awesome, because literally when we talk about that here in a second, what are the characteristics of the people who tip the most here, Maddie? Here we go. People who are younger than, well, close, Maddie, close, very close. Let me see here. The people who tip the most are going to be these people right here. They tip the most, and we're seeing it right here with their mean, because we're going to look at the means right here. And those are the people who tip the most. The people who tip the least are going to be these people right here, which is group 1. So that's group 1. And you can always like mark the groups like group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, and they would relate to the bottom leaves down here. So it's always going to relate this way. Oh, yeah, good. I thought there was like, when I saw 234, I was like, that's that. I mean, I'm younger than 234. I like that right there, Maddie. You are cool. Well, let me see right here. Yes, there's a lot of 24s on the screen. So don't confuse, which I know you didn't do. The people who tip the most are going to be people who are greater than or equal to 24 and have been awake longer than 29. This is the way it goes, right? And then the people who've been longer awake or equal to 29 hours. And now this is group number 4, which is these people. And you could go down this way right here. Does that make sense? How I'm just kind of going down to group 4, and you can see their characteristics in yellow down there. And these people are the people who tip the most on average. The people who tip the least, I should have done this in reverse colors. So the people who tip the most will follow their pathway down. This is an X variable right here. And then this is an X variable right here. And this is how much they tip. And there's 24 people in that group. The people who tip the least are the people in group 1 who go down, not that color. The people who tip the least are the people right here. And we can talk about their characteristics right here. So these are people who tip the least. This is real data once again. But you can talk about the characteristics of these individuals, which is also listed in the leaf report below. Is this making sense here, Maddie? And include the number of students and the anticipated salaries for each group. We should have that highlighted below. So we've actually, I think right now we've highlighted all the information we should be talking about with this question, which is what do people tip on average? Yes, you'll have different variables. You'll have different sample sizes because everyone's taking a random sample. I didn't take a random sample for this one, but would this make sense how I would talk about the people who tip the most are individuals who tip on average 22.9. I'll appear on the screen so people can see me while I talk about this. The people who tip the most are going to be these people right here in this group. And these people report that they have been awake longer than 29 hours, like at least greater than or equal to 29 hours. Their age is greater than or equal to 24. There's 24 people in the group. That's just happenstance. And their average tip that they report, like on average for these 24 people, we see 22.91% that they tip. Is that honest? Is it true? I don't know. I've worked in the waiting industry. I've had tips from older people, younger people, every person. And sometimes you're shocked with the tip you get. Sometimes you're like, you should never, you know what? Any waiters in here? Because if you wait tables, you'll learn to never have assumptions about people. You'll have people come in who look really just rich and fancy. And you're like, oh man, they're going to buy a bunch and they're going to tip a bunch. And then they buy a bunch and they tip nothing. And then people come in like kids. Ugh. In my restaurant, people are always like, don't wait on teenagers. Don't wait on teenagers. I was like, man, like people come in, I was like, sometimes they'll buy $10 worth of stuff. They'll leave me $10 on $10. And I'll be like, easiest $10 I've ever made. They come in, very true. Never assume. You never know. And then I've had rich people come in, give me good tips. I've had younger people come in, not leave me good tips. You just, whoever it is, you just say, glad to have you here. And I'm a waiter of data. Love that, Tim. Love that, Connor. I am too. You let the data guide the decisions. So, yeah, you treat everyone. I think that's a big thing. I think that helped me as a person being a waiter. Like, I think we all just need experiences in the world. And that's how we become better people as we experience the world and we have good experiences. Because I feel bad when people have all these bad experiences, but you know, I think bad experiences are few and far between. So we try to have these good experiences. Again, enough life talk with Brian. Does this make sense, Maddie, for this one? We're gonna hop over and do some of my Pearson now, and then we're gonna jump to Kayla's question next. But which one did people want to do? They wanted to do the lottery one. The lucky number lottery one. Let's hop here to space so I know where to cut the video. Oh. We were watching the Marvel intro again. That's my fault. How is everyone doing today? How is everyone doing today? My Marvel intro is right next to my space. I should be in space right now. Am I in space? I am in space. Of course I am in space. I call this space. Let's go ahead. We got the randomness quiz right here. We're placing the questions. Bringing up the questions. Know where to put the cut in the video. Thank you, Lauren. I'm doing great right there. It's interesting. You know, I said this yesterday. And I really mean this. Like, you should really love what you do. And I like jumping on here, working problems, answering questions. And I said this during class. I was like, the least favorite part of my job. Like, they're like, why do you not like part of your job, Brian? It's the plagiarism, cheating stuff. Oh gosh, I hate that. It's like 2-3 hours of my life gone dealing with like emailing, because you want to make sure you do it properly. You don't want to be like, hey, you cheated. You want to be like, hey, we need to talk about something, and I don't want to talk about it. Yeah. You're in art class, so double tasking. That's awesome, Maddie, right there. That's awesome. Wait, were you the one who was doing like the chisel sculpture thing or something? We had someone on here one time doing. Is it going to with work to see if I've got the right? Yeah. Email me and I'll be like, yep, looks good. Usually I say that. I'm like, oh, looks good. I got 3 messages on Discord. I gotta go over to Discord today. Thank you everyone messaging me on Discord, messaging me via email. Like, awesome communication. Yeah, I remember that, Maddie. You're like, I be thinking about me. I might hurt myself. Don't hurt yourself. Be careful. Are you an art major, Maddie? Sorry to like, because that was really cool right there. You're on a laser cutter project. That's awesome. Well, good luck and have fun with that. Let's see right here. A website notes that in the long run, one expects each value to turn up about the same number of times. That's the law of large numbers in a lottery. That leads to the website recommended strategy. First, watch the lottery for a while, recording the winners, then bet the value that has turned up the least, because it will need... Are they purposely doing the fallacy of averages? I'm a film major. I'm probably going to have a studio art minor. That's awesome. One of my friends, David Blaylock, he got 3 degrees in 4 years from UT, and one of those was it film? He was, I think he did college scholars. So he did like college scholars, so he got to like kind of design his own degree. He currently, him and his husband live in DC and do a bunch of like, I don't even know what they do. They're probably like running DC. Like it's insanity. And like 3 degrees in 4 years from UT, like he holds the record for like the craziest thing I've seen. He went to school every summer. He like just, it was insane. And they came back and he did master's work at UT, got his master's at George Washington, and then works in DC. And really, really quickly, so David took a very different path than I did with his education, because he got a full ride to UConn, I think it was, and he turned it down. I know, it's so like, he turned down a full ride to UConn because he said, if you want to work in DC, you need to go to school in DC because you got to make those connections. So he turned down UConn for, I think he has international policy or something his degree is in. I'll have to look it up. I could look him up on LinkedIn. But so shout outs to David right there. I need to call David up and talk to him and say, how you doing? But yeah, I haven't seen him since his wedding. Man, it's been a while. I'm getting old. Stop getting old, Brian. Okay. Let's look at a lottery question. I just miss my friends. I miss my college friends. But 3 degrees in 4 years. My gosh. He had a okay. Last thing on David really, really quickly. He had a website growing up where he reviewed films. And this is like in the 90s. So he was reviewing films as like a 10-year-old. He's awesome. So, but I took a film class and my professor worked with the production. Like, oh, what? That is so awesome working with Quentin Tarantino, because he's from Knoxville, I think, right? So what we're going to do right here is we're going to, I'll hop back to the question. Piano solo. What? I'll have to look that up, Connor. That sounds awesome. Everyone knows I love some piano. Here we go. Let's take a look. It's randomness day. So this is, I think my first, oh, that's so awesome. Wait, your professor talked about David or Quentin Tarantino? If your professor talked about David, I mean, David, people know who David is. Like, I mean, David went to school here at UT, was engaged in a lot of things, made short films. Sorry. Probably your professor talked about Quentin Tarantino, which would be more obvious. Like, your professor talked about David? David knows a lot of people. David would come back and have lunch with professors at UT. If you can tell me which professor it is, I'd be very interested. And I'll be like, hey, David, I heard that someone was, he'll be like, oh, that's cool. He'll be like, hey, Brian, why you call me up, man? So, okay. Here we go with these lottery numbers. I just missed David now. Here we go with these lottery numbers. Okay, we're going to play a game here that is not the way you would play it. We're actually using the law of averages, which is not a true law. It's a fallacy. Please mark this down. I'm going to put right here in caps. I'm going to type in the chat. Law of averages is a fallacy. Law of averages is a fallacy. That's a fallacy. Because what do I mean by this? Okay, I'm going to open up R. 2 seconds. Class is not over. I'm going to flip a coin right here. Guess I don't know. Might have work open in R. Let's see what we got going on. R, why are you being so slow? Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's take a look right here. Let's do the following. Brad Case. That's not a name I remember David saying, but he might know that individual. I mean, David knows a lot of people. Let's see right here. Heads. Tails. Okay, so we've got a coin right here. Oh, my brain broke. There we go. We're going to sample this coin. Now, we're going to sample it one time. The coin just came up tails. So what do you think it'll come up next? So this is what we call the law of averages, or the fallacy of averages. Because just because it came up tails this time doesn't mean it'll come up tails again. And doesn't mean it'll come up heads. You don't really know what it's going to come up next time because I'm just flipping a coin right here. So they're actually using, even though it came up tails again. Oh, it came up tails again. Oh, you see, you think it's going to come up heads. Ooh. Oh, dang it. This was really random. I'm not joking. All those tails in a row. We just got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's super unlikely. But it happened. That's randomness for you. That was literal randomness. I promise I'm not cheating the odds. I'm making things just go. You would have probably thought heads, heads, heads. I'm glad it did that. We just lucked out that it did what I wanted it to do, which was not be what we thought it would do. So the way we're playing this game, like, how does this all relate to this game? Well, you're going to use the law of averages to say what number here came up least. And you're looking at this first table right now to see which number came up least. And the number that came up least is going to occur twice because I've done this problem a whole bunch. So with that knowledge, I'm going to look through this table and I'm going to find the number that came up twice. 0 came up 4 times, 1 came up 4 times, 2 came up 3 times, 3 came up more than like 4 times, 4, I think that's it. Nope, came up 3 times. I think it's twice that it shows up. 4 is a candidate. 5, is it 5? I think it is 5. It's very easy to make mistakes with this. I think we can copy this. It is 5, right? Thank you so much, Avery. It looks to be 5, right? There it is. Came up twice, and because I've done this problem a lot, so it's the one that comes up twice. So once we know we have 5, we're just going to go here to this, and we're going to see how often 5 shows up. And oh, man. Wow. Haven't seen this. How many times do we win right here, Avery, with choosing 5 as our lucky number? We're like, man, 5 hasn't shown up much. 5 showed up twice. So I'm going to bet all my money on 5. Awesome. Have fun, Maddie. Enjoy. How many times do we win right here with betting on 5? So we're like, 5 hasn't shown up really at all. So let's bet on 5. 5 just never shows up. So let's bet on 5. It's got a 1 in 10 chance of showing up. How many times do we win out of 20 trials? So out of 20 trials, how many times do we win here? Exactly, Lauren. Yep. We pick from the first table the one that shows up the least. So 5 showed up the least. It showed up twice, showed up the least. And then we go to the second table and we say we've been playing 5 right here, like we chose 5. So in the next 20 days, we won 0 times. So we won 0 out of 20 times. Now, please note, I did not put 0 here because of that. The mathematics I'm doing, which seems rather obvious. I mean, like, you would think if you win 0 times out of 20, we're actually doing that. We're doing 0 divided by 20. If 5 had shown up 1 time, does that make sense that if 5 had shown up, like if 5 had shown up 1 time, I would have done that? If 5 had shown up 3 times, I would have done that because we're finding out the percent of times we win out of 20. So you find the number that occurs least in the first table, and then you find the number that, there we go. Does that make sense? Yeah. Once you see it, it's like, oh, that's how we do it. Like usually it's understanding how to do the problem. Thanks everyone for listening to my story about David. Brian reminisces about old times. We'll play some sad music here. Let's do Kayla's question about solving some stuff in R. Let's take a look at that. I'll listen to some nice music here. I could reach out to Josiah and just say, can I play your full song? And just like use it as an intro. It's so good. That is some Coldplay by Josiah Wilkinson. And we have the work already pulled up. You can see it. I was like, we're good to go. We got the file up. Let's do it. Just in the nick of time right here. So let's take a look. And Kayla was asking about, thank you, Kayla, for the question right here. So Connor, this is your chance to shine. We're talking about task 1, 95% intervals, extrapolation, the fit. How can I code the Greek symbol mu? Oh, how can I code the Greek symbol mu? Actually, so the way to code mu is a lot easier than it would seem. We should be able to code mu. 2 seconds right here. Class is over. Let me go to knit. Knit to word. I think, does it not need to save it? Oh, I don't have the sample size in. 2 seconds here, everybody. Don't leave. Don't leave. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to use LaTeX. Is it LaTeX or LaTeX? No one knows. No one knows. Is it law or lay? Which one is it, Connor? We're going to use some LaTeX for that. So if you want to code that, you need to go here. Is it just going to do that? There we go. Look, it's a special symbol. This is how to do it. So we should get it with that right there. Let's go knit to word. And you should get mu with that. And it's just, wait, did not do it? Where'd it go? I thought that, oh, do I have to do this, Connor? Yeah, I have to call LaTeX with that. I think you need one, is it $1 or 2? So you can tell I do this every day. LaTeX. So there we go. So you can code Greek symbols. So Kayla, if you check that out right here, this is how to code a Greek symbol. Is you have to call like LaTeX to do it. This is like a superpower. I always call that a superpower right there. And it basically says like this is, and you can see what it makes. It turns it into like formula writing and all this good stuff right here. So that does like LaTeX formulas and lots of fun stuff you can do with that. I could have a whole fun 5-10 minutes. Brian is ADD and goes off topic talking about how to write formulas, but that's how you can put a Greek symbol in. Very easy to go right here and do like sigma, and then you can get the sigma right there, or lambda. There we go. So pretty easy, just writing it out, and you can get the Greek symbol you want. And that's how we do it. That's how we get a Greek symbol into here pretty quickly. And it's neat. Like it's kind of quicker than point click. Like once you know how to do it, if you are using it consistently, it's quicker than going up, selecting it from a menu of stuff. You can just type this in and type the Greek symbol you want. So create, yeah, it's really neat. It's like you can insert it into a sentence like get right here. The mean of a population is mu, and it should just insert right into the sentence. So we have the mean of the population is mu. Everyone's going to put that in the report now, and then it just inserts right into there. You can also do a lot of really cool stuff with referencing chunks. I haven't done that here, but you can actually like have your report augment. There's a lot of interesting stuff you can do with R, like things that I'm just like, I should integrate this in the class because it's really cool. And then just like, there's so many things to learn. I'm always learning new things. Create and visualize a model. So we're going to do a totally different model right here. I'm too afraid to put the code up there because I've done that where I put the code up here and then people do that. And then a bunch of people have problems with their assignments. And I don't, even though I want you to know to code in these chunks, even though I'm like, you need to know, can we do we do the baby question. Actually, you got it. You got it, Kelvin. Thank you so much for being here. We'll do the baby question next. You got it. We'll be here for about 70 minutes, I think. 70 minutes on this. And then we'll go to the baby question. Make sure you're coding in the chunks that evaluate. This chunk here evaluates, and these chunks do not evaluate. So because we've got the eval equals false and include equals false. So this chunk right here is going to evaluate. And of course, all the chunks are named. I tried to make it easy that you could go through here and kind of go to the different tasks. So you can go to task 1 and do your input, or you could go to task 1 and read about it right here, task 1 description. So I tried to make it as clear as possible when you're going through the assignment. I hope that helps right here when going through your assignment. So the mean of a population, we don't need that anymore, go away. Okay, let's make a model. We're gonna make our classic model here. We make this model every day. In statistics, we predict height from weight. We need data equals survey 10. That's got it. This is not your model. You will use your random sample. The reason we use a random sample is everyone's going to get unique results, so make sure to use your random sample. I might actually do one where you have to load a data set. I'm trying to think of like other skill sets that I see people kind of confused on. You usually have to do something like 5 times before you remember how to do it. And that's the hardest thing. It's like, I mean, I don't know. I've thought about putting repetitive tasks in these assignments, but it's just tough. I think you have to come back to something like 2-3 weeks after you've done it and then like repractice it to really know it, to really get it down. Like you don't do one like Kayla, I'm sure you can perfectly explain this. You don't do one integral and then know how to solve integrals. You don't just like, I've solved, I mean, so it's the same with coding. You don't just write the code one time. You're like, I know how to do this code, because then you forget and you're like, what does that code do again? How do I use it? What's the output mean? I'm talking to myself right here. I'm not saying like this is you, this is me, because I'm like, wait, what does that code do? How do I, Connor, how many times do you have to use a code before you remember how that code works and how to use it? I'd say at least 5 times. At least 5 times you have to run the code, do the code, analyze the output, and by the 5th time you're like, yeah, I know what that code does. I understand it pretty well. It's about 5 times, in my view. Visualize that model. We don't have red class going. Yeah, and then some integrals are unsolvable. It's like, well, can't solve this. Partial fraction decomposition, nope. Partial fraction decomposition, integration by parts, nope. Not happening. Man, I did partial fraction decomposition, just things is, my brain did not work when I got to that part of that. Just ggplot makes me Google every time. Exactly. I'm always Googling my ggplot functions. I'm always like, how do I ggplot this again? I don't, even though I made like a video on how to, I made a video showing people how to use ggplot, and I still Google how to use ggplot. I mean, I know the basics, and I can always like decode like, okay, this. So we've got our model visualized. Let's see it. Boop. It's our classic model. You can't see anything. Let's make it even worse. This is perfect. Let me point out one major mistake. Which one's the drawing card problem again? Is it the sorry game one where you have to do 10 spaces, Parker? Is it the sorry one with the 10 spaces? We did that one at the start of yesterday's office hours. Is the one where you have to move 10 spaces. If it's the one where you have to move 10 spaces, I'm going to send you the video in the chat right here, because I think you're talking about the one where you have to move 10 spaces. Is it the one where you have to move 10 spaces? There's a timestamp from yesterday. If it's the one, oh yeah, I got a video on that one. 2 seconds, and then Kayla will finish. We'll keep doing on this one. I got a video on that one. 2 seconds. The video on that one is going to be, that's the grocery store one. Here it is. That one's fun. Here we go. There's the video on that one right there, Parker. That one's a tough one. You see, Connor's done that one. He's like, yeah, that one's, woof. That one takes a while. I actually built a solver for it too. You can see my solver maybe. So here we visualize the model. So Kayla, what we're actually looking at when we build these intervals is we're actually looking at these intervals right here. You're looking at these intervals right here. Now here's an important step. You're welcome, Parker. You're welcome. Tell me if you get stuck on it. It is a tough one. You have to go here and build a data frame. So I didn't mention this yesterday. I might try to mention it in today's class, but this is a huge thing. It's in the notes for the chapter, but you have to build a data frame. So we need to build a data frame, data.frame. We're going to call the variable weight, because why are we calling the variable weight? This is an important thing right here. What is our model using to predict? And why am I assigning here weight? Why am I naming the variable weight? Why am I not naming a variable height? Why am I naming a variable weight to use my model? Which, just think about it theoretically, like why am I building a data frame that has values of weights? And why am I not putting in values of heights? Because I'm going to use this model right here and just think about the model mathematically. So the model mathematically, so be thinking about this and why Brian is making a data frame. Exactly, Kayla, 100%. That's the perfect theory, because the model we are making right here is going to, like, I can just write out visually for a second right here. We're predicting height. So predicted height is equal to this plus this times weight. So all it's doing for us right here is going to solve, yeah, there's no weight found. It's going to use this value right here of weight and then go through here and solve for predicted height. So that's all it's doing. It's just going to solve that. Don't worry, we don't need that output. We don't need this output either. We're just going to go here and assign values of weights, and we can put in a vector of 100, 150, and 400. So now we've created a data frame right here, and the data frame has values of weights. This is just how the predict function works. Exactly, Kayla. Nice job. That's exactly it. Do you have your data frame? So the data frame right here, you should have created this a data frame like this to some degree, with the data frame being the X variable's name. What the fit column is, the fit column, yeah, what you have, the fit column is going to be the model right here. So I'll show you right here what happens. We're going to go predict. We're going to go M. We're going to go new data equals df for data frame. And then next we have your interval right here, which your interval, not interval, there we go. I hate some of these don't autocomplete. It'll do 95% by default. So that should be spelled correctly. There we go. There we go. That's got it. We could do some niceties right here. Like sometimes I don't put all these on new lines, but I think it can help sometimes to see it. So we have prediction and confidence intervals. If you take a note, because I have to be off the screen to see this. If you look at the prediction interval goes from 56 to 70 right here. So this is at 100. It goes from 56 to 70. These numbers right here that I'm highlighting are the literal 56 to 70. And then over here off the graphic, I predicted at 400. That relates to this one. Does that make sense, Kayla, that this interval right here, this third one, is predictions for, is it the mean or individuals right here? Am I predicting for an individual or a mean? And we're looking at this interval right here, the prediction interval. Is that for an individual or is that for the mean of the line? So, and this is the important things we need to explain right here. So would this be for an individual, this prediction interval, or the mean of the line? I think it might be in today's class. So the prediction interval is for an individual. So when you see the prediction interval, think of like person, prediction, person. So it's going to be the wider one, which has more variation in it. So the prediction interval is going to be the wider one for individuals. And then, good to see you here, Deanna. And then the confidence interval is, let's throw some 50 points. I love when people just, I never want anyone to be like, I don't know. I mean, like, they tell me if you don't know, but I don't want someone to be like, that they won't answer. I'm like, good to see. And then we have right here, the mean of the line, the confidence interval. So this is the confidence interval for the mean of the line, which is tighter, and the prediction interval for the individual. And we see right here the code to do it. Does that make sense, Kayla? I think that's got it. We can talk more about this a little bit here. This creates both intervals, interpret the intervals for the certain thing. So if I'm interpreting one of these intervals right here, I would say I am 95% confident the true mean of the line when we are at 100 is contained in the interval 63.19 to 64.15. Mean of the line prediction is individuals. Like, so here for this one, this might make more sense. So I'd say I am 95% confident a person who weighs 100 pounds, because remember, this is from the 100 vector. Like the first one right here is going to be 100, 150, and then 400 based on the way I created this. So this is the 100, this is the 150, this is the 400. So these intervals go in the order I created right here. This is the prediction for them. Like I would predict someone who weighs 100 pounds to be 5'3", but I am 95% confident, because it's 5'3", 63 inches, or 5'4" if you round up. I am 95% confident the true height of that individual, or individuals who are 100 pounds, I'm 95% confident the true height of that individual is contained in the interval 56.67 to 70.66 inches. But when we talk about the mean of the line, which is kind of the average for all individuals who weigh 100 pounds, I am 95% confident the average of all individuals, or like all people, the mean of the line, is contained in the interval 63.19 that does say 19. It says 19 to 64.15. Does that make sense that this interval, this tighter one we're looking at now, is the mean of the line, which is the average for all individuals that are 100 pounds? But this one right here, the wider interval is the interval for an individual. So the individual has more variation in it than the average for all people. So these are individuals. Like I predict for one person with this, I predict for the average for all people. Yeah, exactly. So that doesn't change. Great job right there, Kayla, noticing that the fit is the literal prediction. If you don't add in the interval option, like if we remove from here the interval option, so let's go ahead and move the interval, you will just get the fit from the model. So now you just get the fit. So this is the prediction for the first, the prediction for the second, the prediction for the third. If you go right here and remove the new data, it'll actually just make predictions for every value in your model. So now we see predictions for every single value in the model. And I think, yeah, that does it really well. You know what? I always like doing one last thing here. Let me look at one last thing. Data frame, $weight. Good. Let me go here to cbind. Wonder if this will do it easy enough. Will that do it? It didn't give it a name, which is a bummer. So this right here, yeah, that, you know what, let's put it first, actually. So to help out with understanding this, what I've done right here, I've combined columns together, and we kind of, oh, you know what I could do? I'm going to have one last idea. This might help and look better. So I'm just trying different ideas so I can actually see what we're predicting from the X value. My last idea to make this look better is to store this. Let's just call it df2 for data frame 2. So we're just making a second data frame. And let's go names, yeah, because that's df2. No, we want row names. Row names, df2. And then let's store into row names df2 the values of weight. And then let's run df2. There we go. So we need 95% intervals, not 95% interval. Which ones? The RMD file doesn't have the percent. Oh, yeah, 95%. You're exactly right. Yeah. Any way you want to make it look. Yeah, great job on your work, Kayla. You're making it look really nice. And I always think we need to think about these things about how do we make it look nicer? How could we communicate better that these are predictions for 100? So I changed the row names right here. I stored it into an object, changed the row names of it, and then printed the object at the end. So you don't have to do kind of stuff like this. You're only required to make sure you can communicate the topics. I think I have a problem. Oh, Timothy, what is it? Oh, Connor. Sorry, Connor. Switching names. You're confusing me. So that's got it. Which one were we going to do next? But does this make sense here, Kayla? Chess addicts. Are you playing at that chess site? Everyone's on that chess site nowadays. Connor, you would destroy me at chess. I would just try to like do the 4-move win. I would just try to do it. Oh, which one is it? Which one is it, Robbie? Ask away. I think we have Robbie, let me know. Which one is it? Which problem is it? We can do the hardest of problems if you want. But this should complete, did I say 95 intervals? 95 confidence intervals. There you go. Can we do the question about the 4 couples from the quiz? Yeah, that's one of the toughest ones. Let's do it. There is a video on it, but I want to do as many questions as we can. Not like, go watch the video. No. So we're going to do it. I'm not even going to post the video. I'll if you're stuck still, I'll post the video later. Let's do the couple question, because this, and I might even have better ways of talking about it. I'm from New York. I'm from New York. But I might have better ways of talking about it than I did in the past, because I've solved this problem a lot. So this problem right here, you have to imagine what's going on. Just imagine this problem right here. And the baby one, you got it. Calvin, yeah, we'll do that one next. Do not worry. We have enough time. We'll do that problem because you did ask about that problem to start. Thank you for reminding us, Calvin. So this problem right here is a complicated problem. You know what? I'm not going to copy the instructions. I'm going to re-explain it. I'm just taking the table. We need the data. So one important thing with any sort of simulation is we need to talk about the rules of the simulation. So whenever we're doing a simulation, we need to know the rules. The rules of the simulation are as follows. Rule 1, Let's go here to rules. If you need to imagine this is going on. So here's our rules that'll help us beat this simulation and win. Rule 1. People 0 through 7 show up to a party. Rule 2. People 8 and 9 are not there. A simulation is a success if people are paired with different people than they showed up with. Make that rule 4. Rule 3. 0, 1, ... 2, 3, ... 4, 5, ... 6, 7 showed up together. Rule 5, you're like, gosh, there's so many rules. This is a tough one. It's one of the tougher problems on here. Zoom out just a tiny bit there. Rule 5 is, there's like 2 more rules. If you have 3 couples paired, you sometimes have to deduce the last couple. Like, you have to figure out, like, if you know that there's 2 people left who need to be paired together, you sometimes have to deduce the last one. I think that's all the rules for it. This is a fun problem to solve. I say fun. It's not that bad. If you practice the rules here, you get pretty good at it. Oh, and let's put another rule. People cannot be paired together twice. Okay. Let's start this out. Let's start the first trial here. Who do we pair together first? I need your help here. So I need your help. Who do we pair together first? The more you practice this, even if you're watching this, you sometimes must. All right. Yeah, you sometimes have to. Sounds better. Who do we pair together first in the first trial? So I need your help with this. Who's being paired together? So I need your help with the practice on this. And if you're watching this, I want you to pause. It's Kelvin. Kelvin, we're throwing 50 points here. Kelvin, thank you so much. I appreciate all the people in the chat working out these problems, all the people like pausing the video or thinking it through and being like, okay, we're pairing together 3 and 1. Now I want you to think about what we do with the next one as I change pen colors. Can anyone explain what goes on with the next one? 3 and 1 have just been paired together. 3 and 1 have just been paired together. 3 and 1 have just been paired together. So with 3 and 1 paired together, what goes on with 7 and 1? Like, just think about it. So, like, look at a rule that applies to this. So there's a rule that applies to 7 and 1. Like, I'm going to do something with them. Be like, nah. And why am I going to do that? So we're just going through the numbers here. We're pairing people together. And when I see a pairing of 7 and 1 after 3 and 1, you cannot use 1 again. Exactly. That's why I changed pen colors right here to be like, nope. And then when we get to 4 and 0, we're going to say, yes, these people can be paired together because they're not paired together yet. These are people who showed up to the party. They have not been paired together yet. But now 4 and 3 are off, like they've been paired, so we can't pair them. 8 did not show up to the party. So 8 did not show up to the party. So when I get to this number right here, I'm going to say nope. I should slow down and let everyone else solve it. Why am I saying nope to 4 and 6? You have to know the rules to be able to solve this. Why am I going to 4 and 6 and saying nope? 4 and 6, you have to be like, why is Brian not going to pair 4 and 6 together? And I can make mistakes while doing this. Please, if you catch a mistake, be like, hey, Brian, you made a mistake. You should have blah, blah, blah. Because I have made mistakes on doing this. Already used 4, exactly. So we've already used 4. So 4 is already paired with 0, so they can't be paired together. Can I pair 7 and 5? Yes or no? Can I pair 7 and 5? Mubot, calm down. Mubot's always chatting it up. Can I pair 7 and 5? Can I pair 7 and 5? Yes, I can. Great job, Lauren. Excellent work. Thank you so much, everybody, right here. We can't pair 5 and 1. And then I think we can pair 2 and 6. And this is a success. I think 2 and 6 is the last one. This is a successful trial because we have paired together. I think everything's correct, right? Tell me if I got anything wrong. I think we've done a successful trial because everybody showed up. So a simulation is a success if people are paired with different people than they showed up with. Here's the people they showed up with. This simulation was a success. The next one, 5 and 9 to start. Why am I doing that here for 5 and 9? For 5 and 9, why am I doing that? Looks good. Awesome. This is a tough one. If you know the rules, it's a lot quicker because I can solve it pretty quickly, but I know all the rules, so you just have to know the rules. Why am I putting a mark through 5 and 9? So look through my rules of how the game works, and 9 didn't show up to the party exactly, so we can't be pairing 9. Great, Lauren. I don't care. 50 points again, Lauren. You know how to solve this problem. It's all about understanding the simulation and the rules. Nice job there, Amelia. Excellent work. So we are going to pair these people together. These people together. These people are no, not showing up to the party. And I think these people showed up, and now we have 2 and 5. So the only people left to pair, which I'm just going to skip ahead to 2 and 5. Please tell me if I made a mistake. The only people left to pair are 2 and 5, and I think this is another successful simulation. We'll get to see a failure simulation soon, I'm sure. It's so easy when it fails in the beginning. Yeah, the list of rules really helps. The list of rules, like, this is how I do it in my office. Like, solve a problem for a decade, and you'll learn some strategies for solving it. That's not a joke. But I've hopefully learned better ways to communicate the ways of solving these problems. This person didn't show up. They can't be paired with themselves. My gosh, we're getting a lot of good simulations here. I think that's correct. How did you deduce that it is successful? Why am I putting the check mark here? Let's see if this one gets a check mark. Great question. This one might be one of the toughest ones because 3 and 6 are not paired together. So you have to come up with 3 and 6 right here. This is the tough one that actually, I'm not even joking, an instructor asked me about. An instructor literally asked me what you do. Now, it's not bad, like an instructor asked you, but that's how difficult this problem can be at sometimes. You see the rule, yep. If a success, if people are paired with different people they showed up with. So yeah. Why did I put 3 and 6 right here? Because if I paired together all these couples, and so I paired together 7 and 5, 1 and 8, or 1 and 4. I was like, wait a minute, 1 and 8 doesn't work. Why did I write 3 and 6 over here on the side? What rule did I use right there to write 3 and 6? What rule did I use to write 3 and 6? What rule did Brian have to go to say, okay, I have to pair together 3 and 6? Because I had to use one of my rules. Rule 5. Nice job, Kelvin. Sometimes you have to deduce the last couple if you already paired all 3. You have to be like, okay, I haven't used, like, out of the 8 people, I haven't used 3 and 6. So I had to go to rule 5, which is sometimes I have to deduce. I wish they gave you all these rules, right? I mean, it'd be so much easier. Oh man, I love it. I love it. I love it. Because check this out. Check that out right there. Boom. Simulation over. Why did Brian immediately end the simulation right there? Why did Brian just say, simulation over, done, no more work needed. Simulation over, no more work needed. Why did Brian end the simulation right there? I'll add this. So that I should have maybe put that. It's a success if they meet with different people, if they're paired together with different people, but it's a failure. And I'm so glad that makes life easy. If you see 2, 3 at the start, you're like, oh, failed the simulation, failed the trial. So does that make sense? Who's with me on this? Yes or no? That makes perfect sense why Brian saw that 2 and 3 were paired together at the start and immediately called off the trial. Was like, done, trial over, failed. Hopefully that makes sense right there. It's like 2 and 3 showed up together, they were paired together, simulation failed. So with this, let's look at the next one. These people cannot, I'm putting the red marks through here for things that we can just not do. So like you can't even use that one. It's a toss out of it. This one can be used. 3 and 5 cannot be used due to the rule that 2 people cannot be paired together twice. 8 and 9 did not show up to the party. Stop changing colors, word. Stop doing that. 8 and 9 did not show up. 9 did not show up. 9 did not show up. 8 and 9 did not show up. 7's already paired with 3. Oh my god. And we can pair up. Here it is. What rule are we hitting right here? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 showed up to the party together. It's like you show up to the party with someone else, and then we're trying to match people with different people. And so they showed up together. So what do you notice about this right here when I get to this right here? This is going to have me fail the simulation. So that's where we're going right here. We are pairing these people together. So maybe I should make it clear that these people are paired together, but it's a failure of the simulation. So those people are paired together, but that's a failure of the simulation because the goal of the simulation was to have people paired with different people, which is rule number 4. So if we pair people together with different people, does that make sense? Oh, it's not. Yeah, 1-0, exactly one. I think you're saying 1-0. Person one and person zero. So I wish it put commas, but it's trying to say person one, person zero. Since they showed up together, we paired them, and so I'm trying to make that clear with the highlighting of the yellow is that we paired them together, but it's a failure of the simulation. So we stopped the simulation here because we don't need to do any more pairings because the simulation fails right here, and then the simulation failed right here. We don't need to deduce the last couple because we have couple being paired together who showed up together. Is this making perfect sense, Lauren? Or like not maybe not perfect sense, but are the rules and how to follow them making more sense? And why I was putting the yellow and the red and why I'm saying the simulation fails at certain points. Good, perfect sense. That's what we go for. I love it. Puppet Shark, what do you think about this? I'm not shocked that you say that, Puppet Shark. That I just, my gosh. Thank you, Tiny Puppet Shark. You're always there for us. Okay, so we had 3 successes out of 5, just so you can see. 3 out of 5. Why am I doing 3 out of 5? Because we did 5 simulations and we had 3 successes. 3 out of 5 is 60%. So we put here 60%. We cross our fingers. Always cross your fingers. And we hit done, and we got it right. So luckily, Kelvin, I bet you're saying, Brian, you cannot possibly do. Come on, why would you say that? I'm just kidding. You're saying you cannot possibly do the simulation with the families. The family one looks way more complicated than it is. The family one is this couple wants to have a boy and a girl, and they're going here. And what's really interesting is like they're just gonna keep having children. So they're trying to Plathville, Duggards, all them. They're just like family. We're just talking about large families right now, if you can't tell. And they're gonna keep having children until they have a boy and a girl. And this simulation actually looks interesting because sometimes they'll have really long numbers here, but what you actually do with this is not too complicated. Like, it sounds more complicated than it is. So what we have right here is the numbers 5 through 9 represent a female, and I know, right? 0 through 4 represent a male. And I hope we know nothing. Let me say this. My mom comes from a bigger family. Like, I know tons of people are only children. Nothing wrong with coming from a big family or being an only child. It's all, every family matters right here. It's like, just like your family, awesome. Don't want anyone to think I'm talking bad about anyone's family just because we're saying like, oh, big families. No, doesn't matter. Okay. So we go right here and let's talk about this right here. Let's think about this. In this first simulation, how many children did they have to achieve their goal? In their first simulation, how many children did they have? Pretty obvious. Don't look at the numbers, just look at the number of trials. How many did they have? How many did they have? 3. And then they had 2, and then they had 4, and then they had 2, and then they had 2, and then they had 2, and then they had 3, and then they had 2, and then they had 3, and then 2, and then 3, and then 2, and then 2, and then 3, and then 2. And you might be saying, why are they redoing this? What we're doing is we're simulating the possibilities of like let's say they were to go back and we were to re-simulate right here. So we're going to use R because R is awesome for simulation. We're going to use the same numbers they did where 0 through 9 or 0 through 4. So male, and let's go right here and and so we have this right here, and let's go here to sample and 0 through 9, 1, and there it is right here. Okay, so now we'd put down 6. 3, they did it. There you go. This is the same problem just being done in R. And I'm trying to replicate the numbers they're creating, but actually simulating it via randomness. And now they're having, what did they just do right now? Can anyone explain what just happened in my simulation? Code the numbers back to what you're seeing. Like, code the numbers back right here to what you're seeing. Code the numbers back. What just happened? Like, I want you to pretend like they're having kids. So what happened so far in this simulation right here? And what is Brian going to do? So if you're watching with this simulation, what just happened? What just happened? What just happened right here? Not just A, not just, so you are correct. Well, if you're talking about this, you are correct right here. You're talking about that right there. You are correct. They just had a male and then 4 boys, exactly. And so will Brian simulate another child? Like, am I going to be like, have another kid? Or am I going to be like, stop, Stop. What am I do? Are we gonna continue having my Pearson? Thank you for putting me in these awkward situations. Talk. My Pearson, just what are we gonna do? More children or stop? What are we gonna do? More children or stop? More children. See some exclamation points in the chat or continue. Woo! I mean, personal preferences right here. 5 children would be a lot. Like, I imagine 1 child's a lot. Like, we got 0 kids. They want a girl, exactly. So we have 0 kids. My brother has 2 kids. I mean, 2 kids. Whew. I mean, my family's 3 kids. My mom's family's 5 kids. You know, and there's of course families bigger than that. I would just hate for someone to think I'm talking ill about, like, if someone thinks like my family has 12 kids or whatever. Like, that's totally fine. It's just, you know, shows like Plathville and stuff. It's interesting, and they're on TV, and you're like, hey, this is a crazy show. So would the 6'3" not satisfy what they want? Yes. Great question, Lauren, right here. So this was the first trial right here, or the first simulation. So in the first simulation, my granddad is one of 13, Miranda. That's crazy. That's awesome. And you see, it's like, you know, back then we're throwing 20 points right there. Thank you, Miranda. It's so interesting, you know, like previous times. Good afternoon, Jacob. Good to see you here. In the first simulation, they had 2 children. In the next simulation, they had 5 children. In this simulation, they first had a boy, and then they had a girl. And so that's end of simulation. In the next simulation, they had a girl, and in the next, they had a girl. So now they're having girls, and then they had a boy. So does it make sense? My family's... I heard someone, I can't remember who it was, but someone was talking like they have 200. I don't remember who it was now. Someone said they have something like 200 cousins. I think they're, yeah. They said 200 cousins. They're like, I have 200 first cousins. I'm just like, I mean, I'm not saying anything wrong with that. It's just like, it's mind blowing to me. I'm just like, 200 first cousins. I mean, I thought I had a lot. I have like 30 or something. I was like, I got a lot of first cousins. Yeah, me too. Yeah. So all we're doing right here, let me explain it in this small sense. I want to know right now I'm going to make our life really easy. We'll pretend this happened right here. I want to know on average, I want you to look at this simulation right here on the screen with these 4 trials, and I want you to tell me on average how many children did they have to have. The simulation works because girl, boy, 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 girl. I know. Amanda, I think it's fun too. And so how many children did they have on average? I just want you to look at this simulation right here. 4 trials where they had 2, then they had 3, then they had 2, then they had 3, and I changed the mathematics to make it easier. I want to know how many children did they have on average to meet their goal. Such a weird goal. I don't know. It's not weird. I'm not going to judge anybody. No judgment. So, Lauren, you are correct. You are very correct. So what we did right here is we said they had 10 total children via the simulation, and we had 4, and that's what we're doing right here. We're just adding up how many numbers there are. So here's the trick. Let's make life easier. Ravi, I think you figured out the trick. Let's go down here to the number of characters on the screen. There's 1 character on the screen. That's weird. There we go. There are 50 characters. There's 50 characters and 20 simulations. So did everyone see that? I'll zoom in so you can see it better. Puppet Shark, you're not supposed to be here. There's 50 characters, which is how many children they had, because each character is a child. And the number of words is 20, which is how many total trials there are. I posted in air. Yeah. No, I'll definitely check that out. Thank you, Kara. And so all we're going to do is take right here and do 50 divided by 20. And that's the solve for it. It's 2.5, which we got via our much smaller Brian changed the simulation type question. So we should get it right. We got it right. Does that make sense? I think it was Robbie you asked about it. Does this make sense, Robbie? You're just taking 3 plus 2 plus 4, but you can put it into Word and it'll count them all for you. So you're just going to add up how many numbers there are, divide by 20 total trials. I know, Kelvin. I know, like once you see it, like, oh, that's easy. But then also we should think about it as a simulation. So hopefully by going over here and doing like the simulation via this, we can kind of think about like how these numbers are being generated right here. And we would stop right here because they have their goal, and you could do like more trials. Now, we are not requiring you to do anything sort of like this right here, but you can simulate these numbers with this right here, so you can see the simulation if you want, how we would generate random numbers. And I could, yeah, I've got the grocery store one. Do I have the 2 seconds right before we end office hours? Where is it? I'm gonna see if it's on here. I have to go download it. I made the grocery store simulator. Do I have it? Did I send it to myself? 2 seconds, everybody. If I'm smart, I sent it to myself. I hope I sent it to Connor or someone. Where is that grocery store simulation? Is it on my laptop? Well, I will go find it. It's really neat. Maybe I'll show it in class today. But that's got it. I'll check out the message, Kayla. Let's head over. Let's turn over the classes off screen. And let's head back to space. Let's put on a little music here. With that, everybody, keep up the great work. Great job, Kelvin. Everyone's showing up. Hashtag show up. Bachelor references. And so keep up the great work. Can you do the prediction, the rarest number based on the... Yeah. We did that one. Robbie, we did that one. Was it at the start, everyone? I think that was the... We started off with... You're welcome, Leslie. You're welcome so much. Thank you for being here. We started off with decision trees, and then we went to that one second. So go to about 15 minutes into the video. 15, 20 minutes in. If you go about 15, 20 minutes in, you'll see me solving that one. So we did that one today. We did the child problem. I mean, we named after that or something. You're welcome, Robbie. Yep. Awesome work. We will be back later. I'm going to head off here, respond to some emails, and start teaching some statistics. But with this, you aced the quiz, Parker. Let's put some congrats, Parker, in the chat. Congrats, Parker. Give Parker some congratulations. See you in class, Lauren and Parker and everybody. As we like to say, bye for now. Bye.